2 or 3 pages of it. I better be quiet. We're ready.
All right, well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular meeting of the Texarkana, Texas City Council. Today is Monday, October the 10th, 2022, Columbus Day. We'd like to welcome everyone in the audience as well as those who are joining us online. At this time, I'll ask our City Secretary, Jennifer Evans, to provide a roll call. Ms. Evans?
Mr. Davis?
Here.
Mr. Harp? Here. Ms. Page? Here. Ms. Williams?
Here.
Ms. Matlock? Ms. Hart?
We do have one council member who is not with us this evening, so I will be voting on matters that come before the council. And at this time, I will provide the invocation and pledge. If everyone will please stand. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day that you provided for us, and this time of year when the leaves on the trees are turning beautiful colors and the temperatures are such more pleasant. And we ask that you watch over the council this evening as we conduct the business for our citizens, that we will make good decisions. And we also thank all of those who are in our council meeting this evening who are attending. We also wish that they have safe journeys back to their home destinations, and that we ask that you be with our country in the days and weeks to follow, be with our military, be with our police and fire personnel here at the city. And we ask that you forgive us from our sins. We ask these things in your Son's precious name. Amen.
Amen.
Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you very much. You may be seated. Just as a reminder in reference to our upcoming council meetings, we do have one council meeting remaining for the month of October. That'll be held on Monday, October the 24th. And then for the month of November as well as the month of December, we will only have one council meeting. The November meeting will be held on November the 14th. And then the December meeting will be held on Monday, December the 12th at 6 p.m. here in the council chambers. Also, as far as other upcoming events, the Food Truck Fridays are back for the month of October. We ask that everyone to come out and enjoy delicious food and sweet treats at the downtown courthouse square from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. Also, on October the 14th, a Cycle Through History downtown bike tour in historical buildings will take place. And then on October the 21st, a Cycle Through History downtown bike tour, Murder and Mayhem. So that might be an interesting one to be a part of. And so in reference to parks and recreation activities, reference to October events, we do also have one November event. On October the 12th, we have the Walk Through History tour at Spring Lake Park. October the 13th, Movies in the Park. The movie title will be The Lost City. That will be held at Spring Lake Park. And on October the 15th, the Alzheimer's Awareness Walk will be taking place. And there's also another community event that day. The Tough Cookie race for breast cancer will be held that morning. Festivities begin at 8 o'clock. I believe the race begins at 9, and that will be held on the campus of A&M Texarkana. So encourage those to participate in that. Also on October the 19th, the Walk Through History Tour will also take place at Spring Lake Park. And then on October the 20th, we'll have the annual Fall Festival at Spring Lake Park. And then on October the 20th, another movie feature, Movies in the Park, and the title will be Hocus Pocus. On October the 22nd, there will be a yard sale and electronics recycling program. On October the 27th, Movies in the Park, the old local classic, The Town That Dreaded Sundown. I've seen that about 15 times, and I always pick up something new, though, when I watch that movie. So I always enjoy watching that feature. On October the 29th, the TISD Dash for Cash 5K race will take place at Spring Lake Park. And then on October the 29th, Trunk or Treat will be taking place at Spring Lake Park. On November the 5th, the Bark at the Park, which will be held at the Kylie Sullivan Dog Park, which is located at the very north end of Spring Lake Park, will be held from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. This is an event that we've had now, Michelle, for 4 or 5 years? 5 years. And it continues to seem to grow each and every year. And so we encourage those citizens who have pets that need to be vaccinated. Also, other information is available to be a part of that on November the 5th from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. And then also as a footnote for our Movies in the Park, the movies will begin at dusk, and there will be concessions available for the movies. So it's a great opportunity to bring the family out for Movies in the Park. For additional Parks and Recreation information, that can be found on the city's website or you can contact the staff at 903-798-3978. At this time, we're going to have an audit presentation on behalf of the city. It's in reference to the fiscal year 2020 city audit, and it will be brought to us this evening by Mr. David M. Coleman, who is a CPA with Forvis, and it's a single audit report for 2020 and annual comprehensive financial report for 2020. So, Mr. Coleman, we're glad to have you with us this evening.
Good evening.
We look forward to your report, sir.
Excellent. Thank you very much. One thing I will add, you'll notice our name is Forvis now. You're probably used to BKD. In May of this current year, we merged with another firm and became Forvis. So now we've got a lot of red in the presentation, and the way that I remember it is Orvis, just add an F in front of it to the fly fisher. So Forvis is our new name. We're still the same people, still been here. It's just a new name. So our goals for today, we're going to talk a little bit about our audit scope and results, some future pronouncements, and then allow you the opportunity to ask any questions you had. I know it was kind of a crazy audit period this year. We are now issuing our audit report for the 9/30/2020 audits. So as you will recall, there was a cyber attack back then, and it's taken a little while for us to get going. We now think that we have got everything figured out, and we're able to issue the audit a couple weeks ago. So we do have a plan in place for us to get the city caught up. We're going to come back in a couple weeks and knock out the 2021 audit and try to get it issued as soon as possible. But after everything was said and done, you are receiving clean, unmodified opinions on your financial statements. So it was a lot of work getting there, a lot of staff work, a lot of hours went into it. But once we got the information from the staff, it was clean, and we were able to issue a clean, unmodified opinion on it. As part of our audit, we also issue an opinion on your internal control over financial reporting. There was no issues to report there other than the cyber attack, of course. And then on your compliance, so you did receive coronavirus relief funds during that period of time. We did audit those and have no findings to report to you on that. There was This is a slide that shows your federal expenditures, $2.1 million of coronavirus relief fund. We have to go through a risk assessment and assess which program is of higher risk. So this was our high-risk program for the current year. So we do audit procedures on this to make sure the city abided by the federal rules, to make sure the money was expended in accordance with the federal rules. These are kind of our required communication. Note 1, significant accounting policies are described in Note 1 of your financial statements. Alternative accounting treatments, we didn't really have any discussions with management regarding that. There's several judgments and estimates involved in your financial statements, so we list those here. We did audit those. Your allowance for doubtful accounts, your pension liability, that's based upon actuarial reports. Your OPEB report is also based upon actuarial reports, and your self-insurance liabilities. So there is estimates involved in those. We did audit those. We don't feel like there's any issues with those, but we just want to bring that to your attention. As far as sensitive financial disclosures, contingent liabilities, your OPEB, your pension liabilities, those are always kind of sensitive because it involves usually large numbers. I think overall the city's in a pretty good position with your pension and your OPEB. Like I said, after we got the trial balance, we didn't find any audit adjustments really that we found. We worked with city management on a few things, but really no issues that we found to report to you after we got the information. We don't really have any judgments about the quality of the city's accounting principles. They are in GAAP. We didn't find anything that wasn't GAAP. As far as significant unusual transactions, that shouldn't say no matters are reportable. I mean, there was the event that happened that caused us a delay of a couple years. So other than that, nothing really to report. As far as future pronouncements, since you are a year or two behind, during the pandemic, the GASB kind of put the brakes on new pronouncements and gave the reporting public kind of a break on having to report things. But next year, you will have to implement GASB 84. That's going to require management to go through all of your fiduciary activities, all of your pension plans to make sure that those are accounted for in accordance with the new GASB. I don't think anything's going to change as a result of this new standard. It will just be some additional analysis that we have to go through with management. 2 years, GASB 87 is going to pop up. And so GASB 87 requires the city to basically capitalize all of its leases that it has. So any lease that you would have that's an operating lease, we're going to put it on your financial statements. It's a pretty significant standard. There are certain things you might not think you have any leases, but when you go back and kind of analyze the standard, there's a lot to it. So if you do have leases, we will be implementing that in a couple years. As far as the rest of these, I'm not really going to go through them. There's 4 or 5 more here. I don't think they're going to have significant impact on the city, and they're probably 3 or 4 years out now, but we just like to put them in the presentation to make you aware of it. We started the audit in May, and to be able to issue right now, we're pretty happy about that, to be able to get this audit issued. We're going to work hard with management to get your 21 issued as soon as possible. I appreciate Kristen, David's leadership, and everyone involved to help us get where we are right now, and I look forward to getting you caught up. That's all the prepared remarks I have. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Very good. That was pretty quick. So any questions from the council? Mr. Hart?
I don't have a question, but I do want to say thanks to Kristen and her team. I know how much work a financial audit is on a public institution. I've seen it firsthand being in the school business. And if you have another fiscal year audit starting in 2 weeks, bless y'all. Thank you for all your work. We do appreciate you.
All right. Mr. Coleman, we certainly thank you for being here this evening to provide this report and the time that you and your firm put into this. Good news. We always like good news. And so we, once again, as Councilmember Hart, thank the staff for providing this good audit. So,
all right. Have a great evening.
Okay, thank you,
Thanks.
sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. At this time, move along to our open forum comments from the public. If there's anyone in the audience this evening who would like to address the council, you're welcome to do so. You will have up to 5 minutes to speak on any topic. If you are here this evening and you are wanting to speak on behalf of one of our public hearing items, then I ask that you please wait until we get to that particular public hearing item. We'll be more than happy to listen to your comments at that time. We also ask those who want to address the council to fill out one of the forms that's on the rack there by the door so that we'll have a written record of your attendance this evening. Ms. Evans, did we receive any sheets? Okay, we didn't have any sheets turned in. Is there anyone who wants to address the council this evening? Not seeing anyone. At this time, we'll move along to appointments to boards, commissions, and committees. Do we have any appointments this evening by the council for boards, commissions, or committees? All right, hearing none, we'll move along to items for the consideration. The consent agenda does have a few items on it this evening, a total of 4. Item 1 is to consider approval of minutes of the regular meeting of the City Council held on September 26, 2022 at 6 p.m. Item 2, resolution number 2022-119, authorizing the city manager to execute a contract with 3 Bar S Construction, Paul Stewart of Texarkana, Texas, for demolition and removal services of substandard red tag structures in an amount not to exceed $150,000 from budgeted funds in the fiscal year 2023 Demolition and Revitalization General Fund. Item 3, ordinance number 2022-120, adopting and approving conforming amendments to Chapter 42, Water and Sewers of the Code of Ordinances to conform with the 10-year water and sewer rate structure adopted and approved by the City Council in ordinance number 2022-100. Item number 4 is resolution number 2022-121, authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Campo Incorporated of Texarkana, Arkansas for the Waco Street and Falvey Avenue proposed 10-inch sewer relocation project in an amount not to exceed $232,384.55. Funds are available in the Utilities 2022-23 budget in the Texas Infrastructure Fund. Unless a council member would like to pull one or more of these items for further review, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as it has been presented. We have a motion by Councilmember Hart. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Williams. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The consent agenda has been approved. We do have one action item this evening, item number 5, which is resolution number 2022-116, adopting the city's investment policy. Kristen?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Annually, the Public Funds Investment Act requires us to bring the investment policy to the council for approval, and at that time we make any changes that are required under the act. We worked with Valley View Consulting on this process, and so they've verified that everything complies with state requirements. There's just a few minor changes. I'll just go through those really quickly. There's a change in section C1, the investment committee. We just made some changes to some titles at the water utility, and that's just due to some title changes over there. There's nothing more to it than that. The second change is in section C3, internal controls. It's really just a change in some of the wording, changing the wording from control of collusion to avoidance of collusion, and then removal of avoidance of physical delivery securities from the listing. Section E3, investments, that was just updated to reflect the current authorized investments under the PFIA. And in section G1, insurance or collateral to include deposits secured by irrevocable letters of credit shall have 100% principal plus anticipated interest on the deposit, less any amount insured by the FDIC. The minimum marketable security collateralization will be 102%. And so we just added and deleted those things that I mentioned to you. Everything else is exactly as you approved it last year. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And also Valley View is here tonight to go over the bank depository agreement. And so they're here as well if you have questions for them.
Okay, very good, Kristen. Any questions by the council in reference to this item? Okay, very good. Is there a motion for approval of the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Davis, second by Councilmember Hart. Since this item pertains to a resolution, there's not a caption. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The resolution passes unanimously. Moving along to first briefings, we do have two first briefings this evening. Resolution number 2022-117, approving the bank depository contract with Farmers Bank and Trust for a 2-year period beginning on February 1st, 2023, with 3 one-year renewal options. Kristen?
Good evening again. The city's current contract with Farmers Bank ends on January 31st, 2023. So on July 15th, 2022, the city sent out a request for application to all eligible financial institutions within our municipal boundaries. Applications were returned on August 18th, 2022, and the city received applications from Bank OZK, Bancorp South, which came in under the name of Cadence Bank, and Farmers Bank. Overall, Farmers Bank submitted the most advantageous application to the city, and Tim Pennon with Valley View Consulting is here to go over the process in more detail.
All right, thank you, Kristen. Good evening, Mr. Pennon.
Good evening,
We're
Mayor.
glad to have you with us this evening, sir.
Thank you. And we appreciate working with the city as well as the investment advisor. And so this is one of the services that's included with that investment advising contract. And so it's something that the city, all cities are required to go through by law once every 5 years. The challenge of that is sometimes not everyone is as familiar with it because you don't see it on an annual basis like you do an audit. So sometimes it's helpful just to do a quick recap of what's involved in that process. So as Kristen noted, the purpose is to select the new depository contract for the next 5-year period. This one will start February 1st of this coming year. It'll end on January 31st of 2025, and then the city has the option to extend for 3 one-year renewal periods. So it's just kind of a check-in just to make sure the city is happy with the bank and you want to proceed with the relationship. And there are, of course, several statutory codes that have to be followed for this part of this process, and so those are listed here. And then just a quick look at the project steps involved. So we look at the city's bank usage, the level of services that are being provided, and then we also go over with Kristen and the staff, are there any services that you may want to add to your existing list of services to help add efficiencies. The next thing we do is we look at the list of eligible institutions that are within the city limits, and for Texarkana there are 13 banks within the city's city limits. And we contact the representatives from each bank because sometimes you can send the RFAs out to the banks, it doesn't get to the right person, and then the deadline passes and they don't respond. So we make sure we do get it to the right person. And then we draft the RFA that the banks will use to respond and provide their applications to the city. A lot of times councils are just kind of interested to see what are the banks in our city. You see a lot of them, but this is a list of all of the banks that are currently within the city of Texarkana. So these are the list of those 13 banks, and so we contacted all of them and invited them to respond. Part of the 105 requirement is that you do have to advertise. It's just state law, so we do that even though we are already contacting all of the banks. We also post the RFA on the city's website. And then we host a pre-application conference, and this is just a way to invite the banks to come and review the RFA and to answer any questions they may have. And so we do that typically with a Zoom call. It's been a very effective way to kind of came out of COVID, but that's really made it convenient for the banks to be able to attend. And we had 4 banks that did attend that, and all 3 of the 4 did response to the application. And as Kristen mentioned, those are Bank OZK, Cadence Bank, and Farmers Bank and Trust, which is the current depository. Next screen is just the evaluation criteria. I think what this highlights is just the level of complexity and the things to consider for the city when selecting a depository contract. The banks do provide a lot of services, and there are a lot of things to factor in making that decision. These are really kind of the key highlights. So of course you want to look at the service fees that they're charging, the earnings credit rate, any interest paid on balances, and then just the banking capabilities. You want to make sure that they do have the technology and the capability to handle the city's banking needs. And then this is a comparison of the interest rate options that were offered. And this was as of August 1st, and you're probably aware we're in a very volatile interest rate environment, so these have already become somewhat dated. But really what's very attractive about the rates that all three banks offered is that they are indexed or tied to rates, so they will move with as interest rates continue to go up, these rates will also go up. And so of the three, Farmers really had the most attractive index rate because there was no adjustment. The other two were basically lowering by 95 basis points and 100 basis points. So really a significant advantage for the application offered by Farmers. But really kudos to all three banks. They all stepped up and really gave the city very attractive offers for the banking services. And then this is kind of the bank comparison. So one of the things we look at is the balances that the city maintains, because that's a very key factor in doing the analysis. And so the city has typically maintained, over the last 12 months, the average balance at the bank was $37 million. And so we use that in running our calculations. As you can see, Bank OZK and Farmers Bank and Trust both offer to waive all service fees. So that's, again, a very attractive offer for the city. So really you're looking at what's the interest income that is earned on that $37 million. And then that really kind of drives down to, okay, what's the bottom line benefit? So you can see clearly Farmers Bank and Trust did have clearly the best offer, the most attractive offer. And then we also looked at Texarkana Water Utilities, because they're also a very important component of the city's business. We looked at them separately, but the results are clearly the same. They received the same application and the same offer that the city received. And again, Farmers Bank and Trust clearly the most favorable of the three options there. So the staff recommends Farmers Bank and Trust, as Kristen, I think, mentioned, and as the consultants, we concur with that recommendation. Fairly easy decision. They did offer the most favorable terms. They've got a proven track record of performance. That's one of the things we check with the city staff. It's like, are you happy with the current banking? And they were like, yes, we're getting great service with Farmers. And last but not least, staying with the incumbent eliminates the additional work of going through a bank change. And so really that's kind of the highlights of the recap, and I'm happy to answer any questions that any of you may have about the process or the applications.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Any questions? Very good. Thank you for the information.
Certainly.
All right. Glad to have you with us this evening.
Good to be here.
And council will take action on this item at our next meeting on October the 24th. So thank you very much, Tim. At this time, move along to resolution number 2022-122, supporting the Texarkana Metropolitan Planning Organization's adoption of a State Line Avenue Corridor Plan Alternative 2 to the Arkansas Department of Transportation, RDOT, for the design of the State Line Avenue Corridor. Public hearing will be held on this item at our next meeting on October the 24th, and then council consideration at that time. And we'll turn this item over to our city manager, Dr. Orr. David?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As you stated, so the Texarkana Metropolitan Planning Organization, the MPO, recently completed a state line corridor study with the intent to form a framework for future development for access and mobility along the corridor. The Technical Committee and Policy Board also met recently and recommended the State Line Avenue Corridor Plan Alternative Number 2. That's the plan that includes no raised median as an option to the Arkansas Department of Transportation. The general scope of the DOT's responsibility was also defined in this process to include replacement of the roadway pavement sections, an 8-foot shared use path for both sides of the corridor, and corridor lighting as well. All other planned concepts, including transit facilities, landscaping, and specialty items, will be the responsibilities of both cities, ADCOG, or other MPO designated funding. It was also established that a work group will be formed with the Policy Board and the Technical Committee to review the design elements at 30%, 60%, and 90% of the plan sets. Both cities have been asked to consider supporting the State Line Avenue Corridor Plan Alternative 2 for planning purposes and to provide direction for RDOT to begin design work. I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have. Also, Raydonna Jones, Director of MPO for Texarkana, is also in the audience to answer questions as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you, David. Good evening, Radonna. Glad to have you with us this evening. Any questions by the council? This is a project that we've been anticipating for quite some time, and so we appreciate the cooperative efforts between both states' highway departments in putting this project together, and also some amenities to complement it as well. A lot of work's been put in on this, MTG, community input as well, input from the MPO, and so exciting project to have. It's a once-in-a-lifetime type project that we'll be able to have in our community. So it'd be great to enhance the state line corridor. Any final questions? Mr.
Mayor,
Hart?
I just wanted to say that I know Councilmember Davis and I attended a couple of meetings and applaud everybody that was involved, both cities and MTG and the other organizations that were involved in this, because they got a lot of input. I think they got more input than they wanted at sometimes, but they listened to everybody and came up with a plan that I think hopefully everybody can enjoy and live with. So,
Very good. Okay. All right, so this completes our first briefings portion of the agenda. We'll now move along to public hearings. We do have several public hearings scheduled for this evening. So item 1 is ordinance number 2022-103, granting a specific use permit to allow a tattoo studio and art gallery on an approximate .13 acre tract of land being tract 231 Thomas Price Headright Survey, A-466, located at 3427 New Boston Road. Alfred Smith, owner. Kara May, agent. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing open on this item. If there's anyone who would like to address the council, you're welcome to come forward, and if you will, come to the podium, the stand to the right, and state your name for the record. So at this time, the public hearing is open if anyone would like to comment on this particular item. Good evening, ma'am. If you'll please state your name for the record.
I'm Kara May. I'm the agent part of it. I just didn't know if anybody had any questions or anything like that. I know we already did everything, but if there were any additional concerns or anything, I mean, because we already have been in business for 3 years. We're just trying to move venues.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. We certainly thank you for taking time to be with us this evening. Does anyone have a question for the applicant? Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am. Public hearing is still open. If there's anyone else who would like to address the council on this item, if you'll please come forward. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the ordinance? We have a motion by Councilmember Page and a second by Councilmember Hart. Ms. Evans, the caption, please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending the zoning map showing the location, boundary, and use of certain property by the granting of specific use permit number S-758 to allow the location of a tattoo studio and a tenant space on an approximate 0.13 acre tract of land being tract 231, Thomas Price HRS A-466, located at 3427 New Boston Road in the city of Texarkana, Bowie County, Texas, containing a repealer clause, containing a severability clause, and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ordinance passes unanimously. Good luck to you, ma'am. All right. Moving along to item number 2, ordinance number 2022-104, granting a specific use permit to allow the location of a HUD code manufactured home on lots 5 and 6, block 2, Grandview Edition, located at 2809 Finley. Sandra Carroll, owner. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing open. If there's anyone who would like to address the council, if you'll please come forward and state your name for the record. Good evening, ma'am. How are you this evening?
Good evening. I'm okay. My name is Sandra Carroll,
Okay.
and I am the owner of the property. And what we want to do is buy a home and put it in to live in. Single
Be
family.
your primary residence, correct?
Well, for my daughter and my grandchildren.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Does anyone have a question? Okay. Very good. Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you.
Public hearing is still open. If anyone else would like to address the council, please come forward. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the ordinance? We have a motion by Councilmember Hart. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Williams. Ms. Evans, the caption, please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending the zoning map showing the location, boundary, and use of certain property by the granting of specific use permit number S-759 to allow the location of a single-wide HUD code manufactured home on lots 5 and 6, Block 2, Grandview Addition, located at 2809 Finley Street in the city of Texarkana, Bowie County, Texas, containing a repealer clause, containing a severability clause, and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Ms. Carroll, good luck to you. At this time, move along to item number 3, ordinance number 2022-105, rezoning and amending PD-79-8, C as in Charles, on an approximate 1.01 acre tract of land being tract 219, Thomas Price Headright Survey, A-466, located at 2315 North Robinson Road, requesting the planned development be removed at this location and rezoned from commercial to single-family 2. Veronica Hernandez, owner. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing open on this item. If there's anyone who would like to address the council, if you'll please come forward and state your name for the record. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Veronica Hernandez, and the main issue that I have to switch from business to residential is the bills and everything that has to be charged as the business. And I'm going to be living in there, hopefully bringing over my parents with me, and the maintenance could have a, I forgot, there's no stairs to get into the house. It's easy for them to get in. And I'm pretty sure later on I'm going to be able to use that ramp too. I'm not that young anymore, so it will be easy for me to use that entrance on the house.
Okay, so is this formerly a commercial building?
It is a commercial. It used to be a business in there. It's not. It's been closed for I don't know how many years. And right now I'm living in front of the same address, the 2315, but I have stairs to get into the house, and it's getting harder for my parents getting to the house. So when I saw the house, it was for sale. I went and trying to get it, and I got lucky to get it. And like I said, it's a ramp to get into the house, so it would be easier for my parents to move it.
Okay, very good. It's getting harder for me to climb stairs too, so part of the aging process, I guess.
Yes.
So anyone have a question for Ms. Hernandez? Okay, we certainly thank you for your time this evening, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. Public hearing is still open. If there's anyone else who would like to address the council, if you'll please come forward. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the ordinance?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Harp and a second by Councilmember Hart. So, Ms. Evans, the caption, please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending the zoning ordinance of the City of Texarkana, Texas, by rezoning an approximate 1.01 acre tract of land, being tract 219, Thomas Price HRS A-466, located at 2315 North Robinson Road in the city of Texarkana, Bowie County, Texas, from planned development commercial to single-family 2, containing a repealer clause, containing a severability clause, and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ordinance passes. Ms. Hernandez, best of luck to you, ma'am, at your new location there. At this time, we move along to item number 4, ordinance number 2022-106, granting a specific use permit to allow permanent cosmetic procedures and tattooing on lots 2 and 3, Block 5, Richmond Development 4th Subdivision, located at 4401 Corporate Drive. Timothy Reynolds, Domination Properties owner, and Tammy Roten, agent. At this time, I declare the public hearing open on this item. If there's anyone who would like to address the council, please come forward and state your name for the record. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. I am Tammy Roten, and I'm just making sure if you guys have any questions for me.
Okay, any questions for the applicant this evening? Okay, thank you for your time, ma'am. Public hearing is still open. If anyone else would like to address the council, please come forward. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval? We have a motion by Councilmember Page and a second by Councilmember Harp. Ms. Evans, the caption.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending the zoning map showing the location, boundary, and use of certain property by the granting of specific use permit number S-760 to allow the location of a permanent cosmetics tattoo studio in a tenant space on lots 2 and 3, Block 5, Richmond Development 4th Subdivision, located at 4401 Corporate Drive in the city of Texarkana, Bowie County, Texas, containing a repealer clause, containing a severability clause, and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ordinance passes. All right. Ms. Roten, good luck to you with this project. All right. At this time, move along to item 6, ordinance number 2022-108, granting a specific use permit to allow a HUD code manufactured home on the west half of lot, lot 19, block 4, Red Cut Heights, located 2503 Sugden. Charles Antoine, owner. At this, at this time, I declare the public hearing open. If anyone would like to address the council, please come forward. Not seeing anyone coming forward at this time, I declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the ordinance?
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Page, second by Councilmember Davis. Ms. Evans, the caption.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending the zoning ordinance of the City of Texarkana, Texas by rezoning the west half of Lot 19, Block 4, Red Cut Heights, located at 2503 Sugden Street in the City of Texarkana, Bowie County, Texas, from Single Family 2 to Single Family 3, containing a repealer clause, containing a severability clause, and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. All right, the ordinance passes. Item number 7, ordinance number 2022-109, rezoning Lot 18, Block 4, Red Cut Heights, located at 2503 Sugden, from Single Family 2 to Single Family 3, Mary Antoine, owner, and Termaine Richardson, agent. At this time, I declare the public hearing open. If anyone would like to address the council, please come forward. At this time, I declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval? Motion by Councilmember Harp, second by Councilmember Page. Ms. Evans, the caption.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending the zoning map showing the location, boundary, and use of certain property by the granting of specific use permit number S-761 to allow the location of a HUD code manufactured home on the west half of Lot 19, Block 4, Red Cut Heights, located at 2503 Sugden Street in the City of Texarkana, Bowie County, Texas, containing a repealer clause, containing a severability clause, and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ordinance passes unanimously. Moving on to item number 8, ordinance number 2022-110, granting a specific use permit to allow a HUD code manufactured home on Lot 18, Block 4, Red Cut Heights, located at 2503 Sugden. Mary Antoine, owner, and Termaine Richardson, agent. At this time, I declare the public hearing open. If anyone would like to address the council, please come forward.
Mayor, we can proceed with this item. I just wanted to note, I think we missed item 6.
Did I overlook 6?
Because they're all pretty much the same. They're all dealing with the same property, or a similar property.
Okay, so let's finish this one, and then we'll go back to 6. I apologize for that. All right, public hearing's open. If anyone would like to address the council, please come forward. At this time, I declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Hart, second by Councilmember Harp. Ms. Evans, the caption.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending the zoning map showing the location, boundary, and use of certain property by the granting of specific use permit number S-762 to allow the location of a HUD code manufactured home on Lot 18, Block 4, Red Cut Heights, located at 2503 Sugden Street in the city of Texarkana, Bowie County, Texas, containing a repealer clause, containing a severability clause, and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. A lot of activity at 2503 Sugden this evening. So let's go back to item number 6, ordinance number 2022-108, granting a specific use permit to allow a HUD code manufactured home on the west half of Lot 19, Block 4, Red Cut Heights, located where? 2503 Sugden.
Sugden.
Charles Antoine, owner. At this time, we'll declare the public hearing open. If anyone would like to address the council on this item, please come forward. At this time, I declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion by Councilmember Davis. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Page. Ms. Evans, the caption, please.
Excuse me. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending the zoning map showing the location, boundary, and use of certain property by the granting of specific use permit number S-761 to allow the location of a HUD code manufactured home, excuse me, on the west half of Lot 19, Block 4, Red Cut Heights, located at 2503 Sugden Street in the city of Texarkana, Bowie County, Texas, containing a repealer clause, containing a severability clause, and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ordinance passes unanimously. Moving along to item number 9, ordinance number 2022-111, rezoning Lot 3, Block 19, Rose Acres Annex, located in the 500 block of South Bishop Road, from Single Family 2 to Industrial 1. Alex Scott Tipton, owner. At this time, I declare the public hearing open on this item. If anyone would like to address the council, please come forward. Not seeing anyone coming forward at this time, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the ordinance?
So moved.
I'm sorry, who seconded? Motion by Councilmember Williams and a second by Councilmember Harp. Ms. Evans, the caption, please. Dr. Orr.
Bear with me. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending the zoning ordinance of the City of Texarkana, Texas by rezoning Lot 3, Block 19, Rose Acres Annex, located in the 500 block of South Bishop Road in the City of Texarkana, Bowie County, Texas, from Single Family 2 to Industrial 1, containing a repealer clause, containing a severability clause, and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ordinance passes unanimously. This is the first time in my entire city council history of 17 years that the city manager has read a caption. So, Ms. Evans, are you okay? Okay. All right, we'll move along to item number 10. Ordinance number 2022-112, amending PD-99-1C as in Charles, for site plan approval to allow the construction of a metal building on lots 19C and 19D, Carey D. Hart's First Edition, located at 704 Piney Road. Eddie Stevens, owner. At this time, I declare the public hearing open. If there's anyone who would like to address the council, if you will please come forward and state your name for the record.
I'm the owner of T&E, Eddie Stevens.
Good evening, Mr. Stevens. We're glad to have you with us.
Thank you.
Do you have any information that you would like to share with us?
Not really, just, y'all got
In
any
case
questions?
we have any questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Stevens? Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time. Public hearing is still open. If anyone else would like to address the council, please come forward. At this time, I declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the ordinance?
So moved. Yes, second.
Motion by Councilmember Williams, second by Councilmember Hart. Ms. Evans, excuse me, Mr. Lewis. First time I've had a city attorney read a caption. All right, so Mr. Lewis, you're on.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending PD-99-1C for site plan approval on lots 19C and 19D, Carrie D. Hart's First Edition, located at 704 Piney Road in the City of Texarkana, Bowie County, Texas, containing a repealer clause, containing a severability clause, and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes unanimously. Moving along to item number 11, resolution number 2022-114, declaring certain city property acquired for construction of city roads along University Avenue as surplus or excess, and approving an agreement with Pruitt Realty LLC for exchange of this city surplus property and purchase of property rented by the city located at 903 Elm Street. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing open. If there's anyone who would like to address the council, please come forward and state your name for the record. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the ordinance?
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilmember Hart. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Davis. Officer Parker, would you like to read this one? I'm just teasing. All right. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. This is a resolution. Officer Parker, you're off the hook. All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. I said aye. I voted. Resolution passes unanimously. All right. Thank you for correcting me on that. Item number 12, ordinance number 2022-115, amending the city's traffic register to establish changes in school zone speed limits on certain sections of State Highway 93, also known as Summer Hill Road. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing open on this item. If anyone would like to address the council, please come forward. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilmember Hart and a second by Councilmember Page. The caption, please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending the city's traffic register to establish maximum speed limits for the speed of motor vehicles upon certain sections of State Highway 93, specific to traveling directions, including lowering school zone maximum speed limits to 30 miles per hour on school days when children are present or when school zone flashing beacons are operational, providing for a penalty clause, providing for publication, providing for a repealer clause, providing a severability clause, and establishing an effective date.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ordinance passes. That completes our public hearings portion of the agenda. We'll now move along to the city manager's report. Dr. Orr.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. Just a few updates to pass along to you tonight. First off, our sales tax receipts are in for the month of September. And so you can see it totaled about $1.6 million, an increase of $14,614 compared to the same month of the prior year. Our fiscal date collections totaled about $17 million, an increase of about $1 million, so 6.26% compared to last year. So it's still trending very well in terms of our sales tax. This was a press release that was sent out late last week, but just wanted to note the Homeland Security grant from the Office of Emergency Management was received for $219,679.49. This is for data protection hardware. So as we talked about our cyber incident today, this goes to help with those efforts to prevent terrorism and prevent future attacks. So just want to commend both our Office of Emergency Management and also our IT department for this award. The city is celebrating National Manufacturing Week, and it's part of a week-long celebration this week. We're featuring on our social media local businesses in the manufacturing industry. So we're encouraging residents to share a post about their favorite locally made product using the hashtag MadeInTXK before the end of October, and we we have a number of prizes for them to win at the campaign, including locally sourced products. There's an MPO Regional Thoroughfare Plan open house that's taking place this Wednesday via Teams. I think you've all received invites on that. There's both a 10 a.m. and a 2 p.m. slot. And for more information, you can contact the Texarkana MPO. And as you mentioned, Food Truck Fridays are back in the month of October, and so just encourage everyone to go by on Fridays to the federal courthouse and post office downtown. And for more information, you can contact Vashil. There's two other items that are left off my report. One was we just returned back from Texas Municipal League Conference, and Councilmember Matlock, Councilmember Hart, and Councilmember Williams attended that, and so we'll be providing additional information and reports from that conference here this week. And then also, too, just wanted to comment, I'm glad that Jennifer, we were able to finish that up, because it's part of our value of teamwork that we were displaying tonight to all pitch in to help on the captions. So that's all the report I have. Thank you.
All right. Any questions for Dr. Orr? Okay, very good. We'll now move along to administrative comments. Any comments from the council? Mr. Davis?
Just want to commend the Parks Department. Had the opportunity to go by Spring Lake Park for an event this past week, and I was amazed at how clean it was and how upkept it was, and just, you know, it's something I see every time I go, but I just wanted to make sure I pointed that out since I did experience it this past week.
Very good. We are very fortunate to have such a great public park system in our city. We really do. We're very fortunate to have that. Any other comments from the council? Just as a reminder, council, when you have a chance, if you'll get your evaluations completed and get those to me. I've got a couple of them back, but we'll just get those done and we'll get those coordinated. Any other council business this evening? Okay. If not, if there's not any further business to be brought before the council this evening, I will entertain a motion for adjournment. A motion by Councilmember Page and a second by Councilmember Hart. All those in favor say aye. 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 Opposed, no. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you all very much for being here, as well as those who have joined us online. We certainly hope you have a great evening. Thank you.